Hello again. Just another brief video here to briefly walk through the syllabus, which you can find on the course Blackboard site under its own tab, and then also to take a quick peek at the course Blackboard site so we can hit the ground running for week one. So up here on the screen, you can see I have the syllabus in front of me. At the top, you can see my name once again, Dr. Jeff Winkle. Excuse me. And I have office hours listed here, but just given the kind of the situation we're in, as unpredictable as things are, I'm not going to have set office hours. Very few people on campus come into campus. If you want to make an appointment to stop by and see me in my office, I would love that. I would love to meet some of you in person. Just shoot me an email. You can see my address here, and we'll set something up. As I said in the welcome video, this course is going to be largely focused on ancient Greek mythology. We will, through readings and maybe through some of the lectures, dip our toes into Mesopotamian, ancient Egyptian stuff. Maybe we'll have some time at the end to talk a bit about the Romans. But for the 99% of what we're going to be looking at is the mythology that was produced by the ancient Greek world. And we're going to be taking lots of different approaches. We're going to be reading lots of literature and various genres, epic poetry, Greek tragedy, maybe even a little bit of comedy, various sources. We're going to be considering kind of ancient Greek theology. How did myth function as ritual, as religion? Lots of archaeology and history, even a little philosophy where it fits in. I'm very much what I like to call kind of a text in context kind of guy. It's very easy, of course, to read these Greek myths without knowing anything about the Greeks and appreciate them, and that's fine, and that's wonderful that they can stretch across those generations of time and culture. But my thesis is that the best way to understand these myths is to know something a lot about the ancient Greeks themselves and the culture that produced them. I think it helps you appreciate better kind of why these stories were told in the way that they were and what they meant to the people who originally told them. You can read the student learning outcomes for yourself. They are kind of the standard ones for many humanities classes. As I also said in the welcome video, I'm asking you to pick up a couple of texts here. These are available online through the GRCC bookstore or in person. Look on Amazon too for better deals as always. Stanley Lombardo's translation of the Odyssey, a very, very good one. If you have an Odyssey translation from a previous class and you don't want to buy another one, that's fine. I have no problem with that, just as long as you're aware that this is the text that I'll be using in terms of if I were to quote on a quiz or a test. And I'll be referring to it in course lectures as well. And then the anchor text is Barry Powell's Classical Myth, the 8th edition. I can hear too, if you find an earlier edition, the editions don't differ all that much from one to the next. Some new sections have been added in recent editions. Page numbering might be different. So if you want to save some money there and you find an earlier edition, again, on the whole, I'm fine with that. But again, when I test you and I quiz you, I will be drawing examples from the most recent edition. All right. Since this is an online class, attendance is considered a little bit differently. And so your attendance score will be largely based on your timely submission week to week, things that I'm asking you to do. So the completion of quizzes, the uploading of answers to a discussion board, a forum question, that kind of thing. That cumulatively together will make up your attendance participation grade. So you can see that the point totals here. This course will offer you 1,000 possible points, and so your participation, your week-to-week submission of things worth a possible 200. Reading quizzes. Every reading that I ask you to do will be accompanied by an online reading quiz, and everything that we'll be doing will be available through Blackboard. And the way these will work is these are timed quizzes. And you'll open them up, and the timer will start. But I think you'll find that it's plenty of time to do these things. For example, if I give you a 10-question quiz, I'll usually give you 20 minutes to complete that, which I think is plenty of time to do that. The reason I have them timed is just to kind of keep you honest, a little push to make sure you're doing the readings and not just kind of flipping through the book looking for answers just to answer the quiz questions. I do consider the reading to be essential to getting everything out of this class. Even more so in an online class where the onus is really on you to be a self-starter and to engage in individual learning. You can attempt these quizzes twice. Just be aware that the software will average your 2 scores, and of course, when you're done with the quiz, it will show you how many you got wrong without telling you the answer. And so, if you're not satisfied with that grade, you are welcome to take it again, and then those 2 scores will be averaged together and go to your Blackboard gradebook. There will be one kind of formal research paper in the class worth, again, potential 200 points. I'll say more about that as we get into things. And no need to really worry about that now. But I'll introduce that on its own later on. And there'll be 2 kind of formal tests in the class, a midterm and a final exam. And these will be take-home essay-based tests. So my idea is that the reading quizzes, which you'll do every week, these will be kind of handle the objective, the who, what, where, when kinds of questions. And then the midterm and the final exam will be kind of more analytical. I'll ask you to compare and contrast, or I'll give you a thesis to defend or refute. And in advance of both of those tests, I will also upload materials by way of review and give you a heads up and a good idea of what to expect on both of those tests. Just a note about my grading scale, just because as I understand it is a little bit different than many professors' grading scales here at GRCC. So again, worth a possible 1,000 points. Of course, that translates, if you were to translate these two, of course, the percentages, 950 to 1,000 would be 95% to 100%. And the one difference that I found from students regarding my grading scale is that a lot of GRCC classes will have 93% and above is a straight A, where mine is 95% and straight up and above is a straight A. Not a huge difference, but I just want everyone to be kind of clear on this, because I have had classes where people got an A minus and said, "What? I thought this was a score good enough for a straight A." So I don't think that you'll find that I'm a particular kind of harsh or two guns kind of grader. But I do think that straight A work, earning a straight A should be a reflection of above and beyond academic work. So just so there's no surprises at the end of the class. Just another further word about participation. Most weeks I will have you answer what I call a kind of a big idea forum question at the end of the week, and where you will kind of write a thoughtful couple of paragraphs in response to a big thematic question. You can look at the rubric here too. Each of those will be graded according to this, and so if you knock it out of the park, 25 participation points for that. A decent answer, but perhaps not as comprehensive as it could be, 15. Kind of a mediocre answer with not a whole lot of thought put into it, 5 points, and then no effort or very little effort, 0 points, and those will add up and be part of your participation/attendance total at the end of the course. Here's a course schedule, and so we're cramming a lot into 7 weeks. We're going to start with talking about what do we mean by mythology, creation stories. Along the way, you can see we'll be spending some time looking at specific gods and goddesses, so Zeus and Hera, Athena, Apollo and Artemis, Hades, Hermes, Aphrodite and Ares along the way. We'll be spending a good chunk of our time reading Homer's Odyssey in the Lombardo translation that I've ordered for the class. We'll be watching the Coen brothers movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? A modern take on Homer's Odyssey set in the American South in the 1930s. So the midterm kind of taking place about halfway through the class. On the other side of the midterm, we'll be looking at what we call mystery cults. How did these myths become religion, or how do they function as kind of ritual texts? We'll be reading some Greek tragedies, Oedipus the King, Alcestis, Bacchae, and then we'll end with a unit on heroes, a kind of greatest hits. There were dozens of Greek heroes that showed up in their stories, big and small. But if you had to kind of pick the big four, you could do a lot worse than Perseus, Heracles, Theseus, and Jason. So it's a lot to get to. It's a lot to get through. But we'll do the best we can. If you're puzzled about things, don't hesitate to ask questions, and do your best, of course, to stay on top of things week to week. All right, let's take a quick look at the course Blackboard site. So when you log in, you'll see this is the first page, the announcement page with a little picture of a statue of Athena, goddess of wisdom, war, and weaving in the ancient Greek tradition. The most important link on the left-hand side will be this weekly assignments. That will take you to a folder for each week, and again, to give you what you need to accomplish for that particular week. Also, tabs for discussion forums, checking your grades. Here you can find my information, my office location, and my email. Various tools and resources will come into play when we start working on the final paper. I have the final paper assignment here, and you're welcome to look at it anytime you want. My advice would not be to worry about it right now, just because there's a lot to digest at the beginning of this class. I will formally introduce it about halfway through the class, and then a tab here for the syllabus, which you can always find a copy here. All right, let me click on weekly assignments here. So if you open it up here, you have an orientation folder where you can find the welcome video and also this video that I'm talking to you in right now. The week 1 folder, open up. This is available. This will be available right away. All of these folders I try to keep them fairly uniform, so you kind of have a similar amount of work and a division of work that's predictable from week to week. And so as I have here, I have kind of a suggested assignment for each day. Now this is, you don't have to accomplish each of these things per day. I'm not checking that. But because this is a condensed class, I've made suggestions on how you might divide up the work each day for each week. So I have kind of a Monday suggestion, a Tuesday suggestion. But the idea is that you'll complete all of the work within a folder by the end of that week, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday before the next week's work, all right? Now, I think, like I said in the intro video, I'll be a little bit lenient on that kind of for the first couple of weeks, just so people can kind of get get textbooks and get settled in and get used to the rhythm of things. But once we're a couple weeks in, I'm going to assume that everybody's got the text, and I will expect that you will complete each week's work by the end of that particular week. So here, Monday, introduce yourself on a forum. Just let me know a little bit about who you are. These questions here. Tuesday, watch the first video lecture, the first 3 chapters in the Anchor textbook. There's your first reading quiz, which you can open in a timed reading quiz. Wednesday, view the next video lecture, chapters 4 and 5 in the main textbook, another reading quiz. Thursday, video lecture on Zeus and Hera, chapter 6 in the main textbook, and a reading quiz. And then usually each Friday, I'll have kind of a big idea question, which asks you to reflect upon a major theme that came up during this particular week. And so this one is human beings, gods, and the meaning of life. And I give you a few questions to ponder and to make use of the material that you read and watched and digested for that particular week. And so once kind of 11:59 on Sunday hits, after this week, then week 2 will open up automatically. And we'll go from there. Let me know if you have questions, if anything's unclear, if especially if kind of the tech isn't working for you. I'm eager to help you in any way that I can. So I will hopefully see you digitally soon.